Afternoon, Valorant fans. We're ready to go with, well, one of our last final days here for the first Challengers main event in the Stage 3 of the VCT. And my whole shift with me is Dust. We have our final 4 teams. The big key here is the fact that yesterday was qualification day to get to Challengers playoffs. But throughout now today and tomorrow, lots of money on the line and, of course, a lot of notoriety behind that. Dust, first and foremost, how are you? I know we had a great day yesterday watching some potential upsets not quite get to its completion, but we were in for a spicy day nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, a slight upset in XSET beating Sentinels, I think, in the upper bracket. A very close series, went all 3 maps, and XSET has certainly always been hanging around that top 5 ranking within the region for quite some time. So not terribly shocking, but still a very big result there. But yeah, as you were kind of alluding to, our 4 favorites did make it, right? I mean, we didn't really have anyone fall out and have to go play Challengers 2. Everyone that we expected to make it through did make it. The only exception, I guess, being version 1, you know, but obviously they were coming into this event with a stand-in. And so it's a little bit understandable they wouldn't be at full force coming into this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that, you know, for a second, you kind of thought that, oh my, it might be the KC Pioneers to not just upset one of the North American Iceland representatives, but maybe even a second, because even the game that they played versus Sentinels at times was very, very tight and close, which I think says a lot, not just about this KC Pioneer squad, but the fact that Sentinels are going to have to iron out some of the creases. But beyond that, how about the performance from 100 Thieves so far through this upper bracket? 2-0 versus version 1 and a 2-0 yesterday versus Envy. They're looking quite complete at the moment.
Oh yeah, their attacks are looking really sharp. I actually was watching this VOD back of Envy versus 100 Thieves on these 2 maps, and 100 Thieves just, again, look like they're really adapting well in this next phase of the VCT, particularly their Haven attack with Ethan flexing onto the sky. They looked really impressive on some of their just well-coordinated attacks, and always a very crafty team, also have a lot of firepower on it. They certainly did a good job. But Envy, you know, despite the loss, we're still able to take care of business here against Gen G, as you're taking a look at now. Pretty convincing fashion was all said and done. 2 of the series, and I think the second map was pretty one-sided. So Envy still, at the end of the day, able to qualify for the Challengers playoffs.
Yeah, and Victor, right here on your screen, had a great day yesterday and has had a great tournament overall. He's currently sitting top 4 in total ACS throughout this main event. So really good news for Envy, just trying to make sure they can clutch things up and secure their spot as one of those top 4 teams, because that battle versus Gen G was definitely a fun one, to say the least. But, you know, I'll say this much. This main event, I would say, is one of those that has really kind of showcased just the level, again, of depth that we see from North America, because Odorous, Pure also playing very well for teams like the KC Pioneers and for XSET. 2 of the reasons that they got as far as they did, obviously for the KC Pioneers, just 1 step short. But you take a look at the bracket here, our final 4 teams, just to reiterate, they have made it to Challengers playoffs. But the good news, at least for the teams that finished, you know, 5th through 8th, they have at least secured Challengers 2 getting into this event. So no need to go for that open qualifier coming up in a couple of weeks, which of course is going to be unbelievable, trying to qualify 4 teams out of probably about 12 high contenders.
Yeah, and I think that version 1 and Gen G will certainly be a couple of the favorites team in Challengers 2 to still go ahead and make it to the playoffs. Just we'll have to take an extra step to do so. Meanwhile, our 4 remaining teams here are fighting for the lion's share of the $50,000 prize pool that we have available for this event. 4th place will walk away with $5,000, and it goes all the way up to $20,000 with our first place team here in the bracket. As we take a look at the schedule, you can see that we had some absolute bangers to kick off today. Again, we got the cream of the crop event A still running through this bracket. XSET taking on 100 Thieves. If history repeats itself from last stage, it should be a very close game, as they played a best of 5 that went 4 maps, and every map came down to like the 30 rounds, and just so many rounds got played in that series, basically. And then you got Sentinels versus Envy. Again, 2 teams that have consistently been regarded as top 3 teams within the region, you know, ever since the beginnings of stage 2 and even prior to that. So that certainly should be fireworks as well in our lower bracket semifinal. Then we'll cap it off at the end of the night with some matches to get that lower bracket final and grand final established for tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be a really, really fun one, all these 4 teams. And, you know, one of the interesting things that we were kind of looking at was the simple fact that you qualify for Challengers playoffs, you're kind of off from competitive format for about a month and change to get towards where regional finals will actually start to take place. So you have to figure that all of these teams are going to be coming in ready to go and try out everything that they possibly have, just to make sure that they have good practice rehearsal set up for the next couple of weeks. But as we take a look over towards what we have coming up next, again, like we mentioned, XSET 100 Thieves coming up for us in this winter bracket final. It's going to be an absolute barn burner, because like you mentioned, both of these 2 squads played neck and neck last time that they met. 4 maps, all of them were 13 to double digits, a couple that even went close, if not into overtime. So expectations are definitely going to be high for this one. But for 100 Thieves, the roster as we come to know it is the roster that we still look at moving forward. And I think that that's really great news for 100 Thieves overall, not just because they didn't feel like they needed to make a change, but more importantly, they've put together a flawless bracket so far.
Yeah, I mean, they've made some changes with roles, I will say, right? They got Ethan now flexing onto Sky at times. They're still rotating between Ethan and Nitro playing the Omen, depending on if they want a Viper. Definitely liking the kind of a lot of the solo duelist setups with just Asuna kind of being that main duelist. Even now seeing him play some Jet on Haven, which is a pivot for him. Yeah. So they've made some internal changes, but yeah, still the same lineup, and why the heck not? They've been oh so successful. Our first strike champions, obviously won Challengers, won last stage as well. Just fell short of qualifying for Iceland. Placing top 6 at that Challengers Finals of the previous stage. Also placed top 6 in the Stage 1 Masters event. So they've always been, again, kind of in that top 5 in the North American rankings. They have a lot of skilled players, and again, their shot calling with a very experienced IGL and Steel has always been something very impressive to watch.
Only reason why I even bring up the conversation of roster changes because for XSET, their opponents, they have made a bit of a swap up. It's Zekin that has been inserted into this roster, and he's been playing absolutely lights out. Looking really, really solid throughout this as that secondary duelist. But beyond that, you know, we did frame up kind of the conversation versus Sentinels, how BCJ has been for this team's success. He was by far, I would say, one of the MVP candidates for this squad in that matchup versus Sentinels, and they're looking like top form right now going into this matchup versus 100 Thieves.
They also bring in Def now as the new in-game leader, a very experienced player, formerly playing of Dignitas, and also a pretty storied past playing in the North American Counter-Strike scene for orgs like Complexity. So yeah, bringing in that as well alongside Zekin, who's a secondary duelist, but again, he is also flexing into the sky on some maps and definitely showing some versatility, similarly to Ethan over the 100 Thieves side of things. I think that's kind of a cool little similarity that they're going to share going into this. And both of them are also kind of newer to the game in comparison to the rest of the rosters that they play for. So take a look at them a little bit more in detail. You know, if Haven gets played, these two guys will be playing Sky, and it'll be interesting to see, you know, who's going to be more effective with their utility, as well as who's going to be able to be that trade fragger behind their duelists. You know, for Ethan, he's going to be following up Asuna, who, again, is definitely going to be playing, you know, various different duelists probably throughout this series. Very versatile in that regard, but definitely that fearless entry fragger that Ethan can kind of set up and then follow up. And then Zekin obviously has Pure, who's normally going to be that Jet that he can kind of trade off of as well. So those are going to be kind of the two, like, entry duos that we're going to have to see featured throughout this series. And you know, XSET certainly no slouches, man. Again, they've always kind of held that streak of always qualifying for the next step in the VCT on their first time of asking. They've always been kind of lingering around the top 5. They're never the bride, and they're never even really the bridesmaids. They're not making a lot of grand finals appearances, but what they are doing is staying in that wedding party. You know, they're definitely amongst those people hanging out, you know, again, in that top 5 kind of area, and always a threat to beat up on any of the other elite teams in the region.
We'll take a look at the map series set here to see what exactly is going to be laid out for us. And hey, you laid it out, the fact that these flex duelists very typically will be playing Sky on a map like Haven. How about having it for map number 1? That was selected by 100 Thieves. So that's going to be the first choice coming forward. And, you know, for XSET, one of the conversation points that we've carried is we actually had a really good look at them through the open qualifier as well. I think we've actually casted all of their games so far that they've been on stream. Haven has been pretty solid for them, but keep an eye on their icebox. They have been lights out. I mean, save the really tight affair they had versus Sentinels yesterday. These first 2 maps are going to be really, really interesting to see if XSET can continue their path of upset, trying to find a way to beat this 100 Thieves squad.
Yeah, huge upset against Sentinels yesterday on Haven. They snapped Sentinels' 14-game winning streak on Haven, and also snapped their 16 best of 3 winning streak yesterday as well. So XSET already making a lot of noise in this bracket when they punched in their playoff spot yesterday. Prior to their Sentinels win, though, they were having some struggles on the map. They had lost their last 3 games in a row on Haven prior to Sentinels, so we'll see which version of XSET on Haven we're going to see. As 100 Thieves has been a very strong Haven team lately. We'll talk about the numbers a little bit later, but they're, you know, putting together a little bit of a streak in their own right, and all their losses lately have been incredibly close, but still, you know, nearing that 75% win rate on the map. So definitely they'll feel pretty confident coming into Haven.
And beyond that, also a solid icebox team. So we've got a really competitive first 2 maps, but we're going to send things off to a break, get everything set up and ready to go for Haven. We'll be back with the agent selection and map number 1 of our winners finals between 100 Thieves and XSET right after this. Welcome back, everybody. We're just about ready to go for XSET and 100 Thieves. Map number 1 will be Haven. And we were teasing a little bit about some of the numbers coming through. We gave you some of the bigger bold points when it comes down to the fact that XSET on this map just slaughtered the streak that Sentinels were carrying. The same will likely have to be done here, though, versus 100 Thieves, who have looked maybe not nearly as flawless, but still very, very concise when it comes down to how they've played this Haven map, at least especially through this stage 3 run they've put together so far.
Yeah, and a 4-game winning streak throughout this stage. Haven't dropped it yet here in this month of July as we've got stage 3 kicked off. And even last stage, when they lost it, it went the full rounds each and every time, even sometimes overtime. But again, still coming in with a near 75% win rate on Haven, over 60% on attack, and near 55% on the defense. So definitely a team that is pretty well-rounded. XSET, though, as you noted, snapping Sentinel's streak yesterday, and not only on Haven, but also just in best-of-3 series. So did really, really well there. Had some struggles before that in the last stage against some of the top teams, but again, always very close. And the last time these two teams met was actually in the Challengers 1 Grand Final for Stage 2, and it was a very close series. And when Haven came up in that particular situation, I want to say 100 Thieves won it in like really close fashion. It may have been like 13-11 or something like that. Yeah, so I know it's a pretty balanced game. You know, both teams getting a decent amount of rounds on each side. And as we were kind of talking about in the pregame, we are indeed seeing Zek and Ethan flex into that Sky. So it's going to be a little bit of a Sky v Sky battle. And I think when you combine Sky with the Sova, which you're clearly going to see from Hiko, I would imagine, with Steel picking up the Cypher, it just provides you so much info gathering capabilities while also having, you know, the ability for the Sky to flash in, you know, their jets to dash into sites and capture it. And then they can also be that follow-up fragger thereafter. So very much mirrored compositions. The real difference is just Def electing to go with Astra instead of Omen, where Nitro, of course, feels very at home on that agent.
And one of the things in particular that we were kind of seeing with 100 Thieves as they've played through this map versus for both version 1 and Envy is that Nitro loves to get that paranoia in play as soon as they're playing for early retakes defensively, specifically for this conversation in the first half, but also offensively. It's not just the Hawks that will flash from Ethan. That paranoia has been huge from Nitro. So that's kind of the big key difference maker. Whereas on the other side, you know, just to kind of give notoriety to how Def has played, his star placement has been great to also enable some aggression from XSET.
Yeah, I mean, he's very good with that Astra utility. I mean, even with her taking a slight nerf coming into this latest patch, which has caused some of the controllers to go back to playing Omen, Astra can still be very effective. People who are comfortable playing her can still get a lot of value out of her utility, and Def is certainly one of those people. And the other thing to kind of note just really quickly, we talked about it in the past, but Aaron has made a pretty big role swap to playing a Sentinel. You know, formerly himself playing a lot of Astra when she first came into the meta, and then prior to that was very much like a Raze player for this team, being that secondary duelist. So he's made room for Zekin to kind of take up that role and gave it room to Depth as well, and picking up this Cypher coming onto Haven.
Well, here we go. Round 1, map 1. XSET 100 Thieves, pistol underway, and 100 Thieves looking to get aggressive. Aaron trying to back away. Depth there for a bit of assistance, and it does go even trades for now, but I don't believe XSET really recognized how many 100 Thieves members were here, and that results in a 2-for-1 exchange favoring the defense.
Yeah, you thought it was maybe just the Sky Flash and the Jet, but no, it got shored up by Nitro and Hiko as well. And they're doing a great job, and they're also concerned that a C push might be coming in. So instead of backtracking towards C, that would be vulnerable because they felt so much pressure at A, that they're a little bit concerned, and they're actually just still kind of lingering around the A lobby. They'll now drone in with BCJ to try to make sure that this room is clear. Maybe also start trying to clear out the long, close corners so they can still maybe threaten an A side execute, which indeed they're going for, it seems. They're committing to it, but again, they're in a 3-on-4, so they're going to be down a man. And I think that that's just a perfect example of the fearlessness of Asuna, and you're going to be seeing that all series long.
Yeah. A couple of abbreviated health pools, though, for this defense of 100 Thieves. Asuna has backed away from the site, so the 11 health will not be in play. Recon dart coming out of Hiko. They do read this. Paranoia still in play for Nitro, but BCJ just walks onto the site. Oh, but Nitro able to stay alive because the dart cover into play finds one, and then eventually Hiko comes from behind to find his third elimination of the round, and 100 Thieves strike first.
I absolutely need that replay from Nitro's perspective. Yeah, I need that. If we could get that, that'd be great, because that is just one of those very rare, awkward situations. As somehow Nitro doesn't go down there, and he's able to stay alive. His teammates clean up, and obviously that was just a tough one after XSET lost so much in that early skirmish. And yeah, look at it. I mean, oh, how you doing there, buddy? You probably actually didn't see it because he was in the astral plane, but like, that was pretty funny.
That's the panic that Nitro had to go through right there, though. You have to know he's...
When he comes out, he's like, oh, hi there. How's it going? Hi, bud.
And still finds the kill as well, just to get things going. I mean, that's just incredible stuff for Nitro, just to be able to help out and make sure that Hiko has the assistance that he needs. So, right back into it. We're going to be having, as you would expect, the SMGs in play for 100 Thieves, just classics with one frenzy for XSET.
Yeah, not a whole lot they could do about this round. Again, just got crushed by that A aggression in the previous. Went down to a 3-on-4 and just, it's always going to be tough to recover from that, especially with how well 100 Thieves were positioned on that A site. Positioned so well, in fact, that Nitro could literally stand out in the open and throw down a smoke. So they had that one under wraps for sure, and I imagine this one's going to follow suit as, again, there's not a whole lot that XSET can say about it, saving up for the next round and hoping to crush the bonus of 100 Thieves in round 3.
Def on the lurk. This could be point of contact. Hiko reads this. Okay, Nitro is probably going to come back to this, no problem. They should isolate, although Nitro, he actually goes into a shrouded step, gives away a kill. Def is actually in a position where he could capitalize on a second. His teammates rotating over. They've gotten SMGs and control of the site.
That's a real head scratcher for me. I feel like there must have been some type of miscommunication, or I think what probably happened is he actually meant to teleport further than that and just like maybe clip the edge of the wall or something and wound up teleporting way shorter than he had expected.
Well, Steel on the backside. Zekken had read this, but not able to find elimination here in the corner. Also gets red, but still comes away with a headshot. Steel trades, but still for the side of XSET, this is not bad whatsoever. Asuna back onto the site, just down to Aaron, 22 health, and Hell not going to be able to do too much from there. Steel with 3 on his recovery, rotating from C, allows 100 Thieves to get their second round, but it's a costly one.
Yeah, the only thing I can think is that he was trying to maybe shrouded step more over on the other side of the site boxes and just somehow got shorted, and that's why he just wound up in that guy's lap, because he very clearly should have been spotted by Hiko, who was playing the low side. Either that, or he was trying to fake a teleport and mess that up too. I don't know. Either way, it didn't wind up mattering. Other Thieves still clean up the round nonetheless. Maybe a bit more costly than they wanted it to be, as they probably wanted to roll over, you know, a lot more weaponry into this one. But Asuna, look at this, has the op already. And again, this is a new agent for Asuna. He's only played Jett a handful of times, definitely not known for the agent, but picking it up on Haven. And I will say this, the games I've seen him play so far, he's been very effective on Jett.
Extremely. I mean, we had that conversation with Hiko just kind of asking about Asuna, and it's like the confidence is just there. So if he wants to play it, we're going to let him play it. And that role swap has been very significant for 100 Thieves thus far.
Yeah.
Well, look at this. Steel is caught in a corner. This could be dangerous at first contact.
Yeah, big catch there from Pure. That's just kind of a free 5-on-4 while still being able to stay in a default formation, not have to really commit anything yet. I mean, they're still basically in the same initial starting point, but just with the 5-on-4 now. And to kind of go back to the conversation about Asuna, it was just 100 Thieves wanting to have, you know, an agent that can dash in and utilize the fearlessness that Asuna has, especially when they like to play that single duelist setup and they like to be that high utility type team. You need an agent that can kind of dash in, and yeah, sure, you can do that with Phoenix with running backs and stuff, but Jett can do it all game long. If you're not going to run a double duelist, it's nice to go ahead and have that Jett, and Asuna's done a pretty good job of it so far, but now he's going to have even more weight on his shoulders now as he's got the highest piece of firepower basically on his team, and they're in a 4-on-5, and they have to retake C, and they're still kind of far off of the site.
Yeah, love this call from XSET, knowing that they got the Sentinel down first and foremost. Ethan tries to poke and prod his way in through the Nebula, gets one elimination before being traded. Def should surely be able to get this plant off, and 100 Thieves are going to have to retake if they even can find an elimination, because you've got an operator as a mix of this 3v4. The play through Garage, I mean, this is a really tough look for 100 Thieves.
They might back off and save the face.
Yeah. Well, Asuna is able to make this a 3v3. Time is going to be a little bit of a problem. Both of the flashes have been spent from... Oh, actually, this one flash has been sent from Zekken. There's the last one. Paranoia on the way in. Dercher wants to contest. Hiko right behind, but the trades will come through, and Asuna, yeah, outside of the one kill, he's just looking to play for exits.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't save the Phantom as well. I get understanding maybe sending the Spectre forward onto the site with that Paranoia and trying to get another player down, force another rebuy out of XSET, keep their economy low, but the Phantom in there as well was a little odd, but I mean, obviously this was their bonus, so they'll still be able to full buy rifles no matter what coming into this round. So not too big of a deal, but obviously just a big catch early from XSET, and then capitalize on a vulnerable C side afterwards as 100 Thieves were having to play the retake there. But now we're on to a full buy versus full buy. We're seeing XSET set up towards that A lobby position pretty early on. So I imagine they're looking to put that pressure.
Yeah, look at the pings around the star. They're looking to try to pull out Asuna's, thinking that if he's going to hold this angle, we could just either Nebula or Gravity Well this and see maybe if there's an opportunity for us to isolate a pick. Cyber Cage mixed in with a Hawk, not going to have too much. Trailblazer to follow, but Steel, he snuck through. BCJ has seen this, and now Steel trying to get away, will just barely get out of dodge.
Yeah, that was almost a good little timing there from Steel. You can see they were committing their Trailblazer to clear out long. It actually did not take out the trap wire. It's still sitting at the top of long A, so still something that 100 Thieves can play off of. help slow down an A attack if indeed that is a XSET's intention, which you'd have to imagine so. They're very committed. They have no presence middle or C side. Heck, Nitro's already pushed down Cubby, so he has a quick flank option depending on timings. And even, you know, Asuna is starting to drift towards that A-link position. So they get some good intel with the recon ball. The stars start coming in. They know the attack's underway. Let's see if they can find
Here's also the mix. Steel's really isolated. Steel backs away. Uses the Hunter's Fury. Finds one on the entry, but Fury is able to take down Steel. So even exchange so far, 4v4. Spike is on its way to be planted. Long flank from Nitro trying to come through, but has to get through not just a trap wire, but also the IGL of Death, who's going to try to meet them 1v1. As a point of contact could come through in the back.
Cover going out.
And yeah, Nitro is, well, this is going to be a really tough take for him. Comes around the corner and gets instantly deleted. Now it's just down to 100 Thieves from the front, trying to pin up a retake, and they might just save again.
Yeah, it really did come down to whether or not Nitro could sniff Def out inside A lobby, give them, you know, a man advantage and have another route into that retake on A site. Without that, it really limited their options. Even with Hiko stalling the plant to buy time for, you know, quicker rotations to be there as the spike went down. Just still weren't able to find that big opening. Their economy's starting to come down low, and so it's understandable that they would pull the plug and just, you know, save these two Phantoms, save this operator, and try to roll it into the next round as we're all tied up going into round 5 against should be still, you know, pretty much full buy versus full buy, especially considering Nitro was on a sheriff there.
Yeah.
So he definitely should have the money now set up to be able to buy around the other Phantoms that are remaining. So definitely just good economic management there from 100 Thieves, kind of understanding the situation, not forcing it, and they should be able to come back. Looks like we are going to see Asuna go for a quick operator pick, perhaps through sewer side. But this time we're seeing XSET look to maybe go for a little bit more emphasis on potentially some type of garage control. They have the stars placed, and they have a couple of players kind of towards the window in mid-area.
Kind of bolt over through mid. Asuna takes the source, finds one, second first to fall. And that actually means for Steel, he could try to play a little bit further forward. There's a trap wire in his way, but I have to imagine he's probably going to try to make a play to get this weapon at some point.
Yeah, especially since he is just on the Sheriff, and Nitro indeed did not upgrade. He's actually still on the Frenzy, so still, you know, having to save up a little bit. Asuna in the meantime, gonna get found out here at the back of B, stuck behind a wall in a hard place there. That's gonna take him out. Spike gonna go down. It's gonna be a 4-on-4.
I know exactly. Spike planted.
Girl deck will come into play.
It is from the offensive POV though, so lots of information here for XSET as far as what they want to do for their post plan. They've got BCJ holding over towards window, but it's actually Aaron inside the site with Beth, trying to control some of these angles. Hiko going to try to reveal any information possible. Keep the first one forward. Gravity Well also in play, trying to stall up as much time as humanly possible. And so far for XSET, things looking good. Here comes the retake attempt. Ethan first two to fall. Hiko short to follow. And Nitro with the frenzy is sitting here saying, I'm going to try to recover a weapon, but even that's not safe.
Yeah, there's one right there out in front of him, but getting to it's a whole different scenario. But he should be able to get it now as everyone's exiting the site. Indeed, he will be able to pick up the Phantom, back up the C site. No one there to stop him, so at least that will go forward for 100 Thieves with the round to XSET. And I'll have to comment, I really like their post-plant positioning. A lot of teams will just kind of forfeit the B site entirely and just play from middle or window, which is fine enough if you have things like Snake Bites and Shock Darts to kind of stall out the defuse, but I think it's a lot better if you're also capable of leaving a couple of players behind inside the site itself or inside C Garage, or just give yourself some other thing that way you're not being funneled one direction. And I think Def's, you know, use of the grab walls did a great job not allowing 100 Thieves to play off their recon or get a retake established quick enough, and they're able to safely, you know, not only hold on to middle, but also the side itself, and now they take the lead.
Two very convincing rounds back-to-back for XSET, only dropping 2 total members in the exchange. So their economy is going to be very healthy. And now an opportunity to really bust this game wide open. Yes, 100 Thieves is on a full buy, but they have stolen the operator and put that into Pure's hands. So we'll see if he can find any action here for a first point of contact.
And I like what you're seeing already in this matchup is, you know, showing the diversity of these two teams. They're not both just always having to play fast-paced and explosive. They're very capable of that. They also can slow the game down, just play a map control style, play the information game, and be a little bit more methodical in their approach.
You want to fight it?
As the IGL and for XSET, and now they're looking to merciless like the injuries.
Nitro, though, gets one, stays alive. Asuna coming on the way forward, eligible to find second. So, actually, beyond this, you thought the Trailblazer initial kill was going to be good for XSET, but the recovery from 100 Thieves comes so quickly, they actually stop XSET from even attempting a plant.
Yeah, indeed. Then now the Cosmic Divide basically riddled useless, but they're making a rotation to A, which is open, but Nico's now hearing this. He's calling for Asa to make the rotation. Nitro has his ult to be able to get to A heaven quickly, so they'll be here to greet XSET as they come in the site.
XSET has not fully committed as of yet. You do have one player push forward, that's Aaron, but watch the long player on the back from Def. This point of contact with Hiko could very well determine the round. The Spike would maybe not have enough time to back out and go to B, but that they could just sneak away from heaven. There is an opportunity for them to maybe open some stuff up. Pure is going to find Asuna up top. Hiko and Def, point of contact, but Hiko has been stranded on a bit of an island. He's going to be finding himself in 1v3. Deals with the start, but can't deal with the Cypher player himself. So Aaron finds the clean kill, and once again, XSET cleanly able to rotate over to A and give themselves their 4th round.
Yeah, close one though. I thought, at least doing some pretty good things. I mean, they got themselves back into a 3-on-3 from a 5 versus 3. Able to shut down the C attack, force a reroute out of XSET, and they even had the quick rotation like the Nitro's ult. And Hiko being able to pick up pretty early. He even caught the long con from Death, so it really seemed like 100 Thieves had, everything kind of taken care of, but still XSET getting the key frags in the end to get the victory. And not only will they now extend their lead, but they're going to be rewarded with an easier time as it just shares for 100 Thieves in this.
Standing ahead.
Early flashes coming through from both sides. This is 100 Thieves kind of trying to recover and, again, assert some dominance over towards A main. They've been successful in that, but look at the quick rotation from XSET. They've read this nicely.
Oh, missed flash though from Ethan. It didn't make it through the window. It bounced up against the wall, so he gets caught basically with the self-flash. Definitely notice that. And now XSET just start pouring into what is now an empty C slot, and they have a 5-on-3 post plant. Not a lot of other these can do about it when they have just the Ghost and the Sheriff and the Classic.
XSET look really prepared for 100 Thieves kind of cheeky plays. I mean, you were talking about it just before we got onto camera that 100 Thieves were getting away with a lot versus Envy that you wouldn't normally expect. XSET are not allowing them that same luxury so far today.
Yeah. I mean, 100 Thieves are definitely a very crafty team, particularly on the attacking side. They have a lot of people, like, that's not
one enemy remaining.
A lot of nice feints and double fakes and things of that nature, but on the defending side, I think the biggest problem so far for them has been the economy. How many times have they had to save? How many times have they got stuck with maybe only like 2 or 3, full weapons? I mean, they haven't really had very many full buys. Asuna hasn't really been able to have too much impact with an op yet. He had like 1 quick sewers pick a couple of rounds ago, but other than that, he hasn't really been in a position to do much because they haven't really played into him. So XSET just, again, continuing to do some of the good things we saw against Sentinels. They're a team that, again, is very dynamic now at Def coming as the in-game leader. Not as much of a one-trick pony, so to speak, with like aggression and just like really gimmicky compositions. They can still definitely bring that aggressive nature when they need to, but again, they can slow it down and play, the small number of situations very effectively. And just trying to be testing it.
And I still love this. I mean, when we were watching 100 Thieves play through their final match of the Open qualifiers, they continue to put Asuna here at A long, and XSET have not allowed even the opportunity for Asuna to feel like he could even play that angle. Seekers will come through. Nitro's got to the middle of the map. He's going to find one. That's the Spike here. Paranoia can also come through, and hold on a second. There's an opportunity here maybe for a bit of a pinch, but it looks like Nitro, happy with the first blood, has backed away, and we'll go 5v4 favoring 100 Thieves.
Yeah, the Paranoia there was more of an escape route tactic rather than trying to press the issue in front. They already got their 5-on-4. They're happy with that. They just want to back up now and settle in, knowing that they have an early edge. They've really burnt a lot of XSET's utility as they were trying to fight for a little bit of sewers and long A control, and instead, they wound up losing a player. Death takes some damage. They're having to pivot everyone back over to long C, including Pure with the operator now. Nitro is here just kind of jump spotting it. And Ethan's not too far away. He's going to trailblaze middle, realize that no one's there, taking Garage. And so they know that pretty soon it's going to be just, 4 players up long C, and that's all they've got.
And again, no Paranoia here for Nitro. Guiding Light will find a flash, and the take is going to be really clean. Now, as far as the retake is considered for 100 Thieves, what is going to be the play? Because Def is starting to set up all the stars around the key entry points. Hiko does not have a recon bolt as of yet. There is an owl drone to play with as, well, we can at least see what's going on with the lobby. 13 kills coming through. All right, there we go. Back on into it. And second and Aaron will actually fall, so the retake will be complete for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, so we didn't really get to see the actual retake itself, but what I can comment on, at least, Shift, is the fact that I think 100 Thieves played that really intelligently. Again, they don't force the issue after the opening pick with Nitro. They back it off using the Paranoia as a way to escape. And then think about it this way. Nitro's playing the C-side anchor position. He's keeping tabs on long C. The moment that Ethan clears Garage in middle and they realize that, hey, all 4 are coming long C, rather than Nitro and Ethan just trying to battle that out and potentially getting overwhelmed, Nitro just smartly backs off, realizing, okay, they're committing everything to take the site, but we have the ability to take the retake as we have the man advantage, and So very patient and thoughtful play from 100 Thieves gets them a third round, gets them closing the gap as Oscar looks for a mid pick.
Full purchase still in play though for XSET, very comfortable still. This round could change things. Steal once more. Aggressive coming down and just crouches underneath death. Well, the IGL is going to be down here. Another first blood for 100 Thieves, and they're happy to use the neural theft and set up Asuna for a second kill. No problem mid-map.
Trailblazer is going to come through, but it doesn't actually stun Asuna. He's able to go into Garage and almost benefited from the fact that Ethan had the flash onto Pure. He just misses the shot, but 100 Thieves, they still have a huge advantage here. 5-on-3, timing though, not favoring Hiko. Zekken able to get that kill onto A-Link, and oh my goodness. XSET though fighting their way back in.
They have found an entry point. This is looking pretty solid. Pure watching the rotation from C. Steal wants to feel things out. Knows where Zekken's positioned off the Seeker, but he's going to use that as a little bit of self-bait. Zekken finds the follow-up elimination. Oh, and Nitro's actually going to get affected by the Seekers.
Oh, no.
This was a 3v5 for XSET, now made a 3v1.
Oh, 100 Thieves are be kicking themselves. They let this round slip through their fingers. Steel had such a great aggressive play through Stewards. Gets a pick, gets a neural theft off. Asuna gets perfect intel on 3 middle, gets an op pick on one of them. They slow down the, garage progression thanks to, one of the flashes from Ethan on the sky. Everything seems to be according to plan. And then all of a sudden, Hiko gets caught on a timing with this drone out. Zekken uses that to get a pick, opens up A-Link, opens up B-site, and then gets a huge kill thanks to the Seekers on the steal. And that basically gets it back to equal footing. And XSET from that point forward able to come up with the victory. If you're 100 Thieves, you're kicking yourself because you feel like that's the round you needed to win. To maybe force a save out of XSET, work yourself towards a tie scenario. Now instead, they're going to be even further behind, and they're the ones running out of cash.
It's just one of those things that, I mean, I'm in the same boat as I think the 100 Thieves call was, you get the first eliminations, you don't expect XSET to be still playing so aggressive to the middle of the map. It catches 2 players completely off guard. And I'd say rightfully so, because that's just a change of pace that you wouldn't expect with numbers so early on. Now XSET a chance to go up 6-3, and once again, they force 100 Thieves down to an econ situation.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just Nitro on that Vandal. That's it. A couple players already being spotted here by BCJ inside that C site. He actually had the best spawn, so he took the operator to kick things off in this round. As the rest of his team's looking to come up Garage with the flashes, and the Hunter's Fury comes in and try to slow them down, but it's not going to work. XSET finding the entries.
But Nitro does get 2, keeps things competitive. And potentially he could deny the post plant over towards C long. That seems to be the case. So you're looking at Hiko and Steel from the front. Trailblazer not going to find any connection, but does, of course, read the information. Aldrone will do essentially the same thing. It actually doesn't get deleted. It could tag again. Nitro from the back. Never was expected. Nitro is found 4. Second, trying to hold on to the cyber cage, but Hiko pulls out the sheriff, finds the kill. And that is an absolutely masterful retake from 100 Thieves.
Oh, that is so big. I mean, they're down. All they have is Nitro's Vandal. XSET's making some good progression on site, even despite the Hunter's Fury being thrown at them. They're getting some good entries thanks to Aaron. It's looking like things are going according to plan for XSET. And then Nitro, the sole piece of big firepower that they had, comes up with 2 huge frags from inside the garage position. Staying alive in the midst of all the chaos. And he's able to help set up a retake, and kind of really the solo effort, getting 4 of the frags on that. Just a brilliant play. That's why Nitro's been regarded as one of the best controller players, particularly the Omen in our region, is because he's able to, definitely put out the fragging output, not just be, a supportive element. And that's a big round to win for 100 Thieves, especially considering the context of their last loss.
Also aggressive through Stewart. Gonna find one right underneath the legs of the Trailblazer. And is still in a position to where he could contest a second, trying to find the flick shot down low, not going to quite connect. And XSET still threatening. They've got Blades as a part of this potential push.
Yeah, Nitro playing kind of a sometimes unchecked corner on this B side as well to just watch for the fallback into B site. Asuna still holding an angle here on Sewer's drone, helping clear out some of the close corners there. So they know that XSET has slowed down. They're not committing just yet for the push, but now Pierre is moving up with that smoke, but doesn't check the corner.
That was actually Austin's smoke that came into play too, trying to use that against him, but does not unfold the way he was expecting it. So now 3v5 situation and only 50 seconds on the clock. This is going to be a hard-pressed push from the side of XSET.
Yeah, I mean, in the rounds that 100 Thieves have won, it's really been off the back of how well they've been able to use their aggression at A. Sure, they let one round slip off the back of it, but they've also had a lot of success using it to get victories. And oh, Def getting spotted in this corner, getting caught by Nitro as he was trying to play some stars. Now they'll be riddled useless. Aaron catching Nitro, extending for more, but heck, it doesn't matter. 100 Thieves still have a 4-on-2 and no spikes down, and time is dwindling.
Yeah.
So it looks like XSET are looking to pivot to Garage.
Not a lot of time to make this play happen. The defender here at C is going to be Ethan in the back corner. Of course, this is being Red Steals on the way forward to be the second defender here. They try to reinforce, and as they do, they double peek. Find both kills, no problem. And 100 Thieves bring us within one with 1 to play here in the half.
Indeed, looks like they're very much on the verge of tying this thing up as we transition sides. And honestly, they very well could have been up like 7-5 or something like that if they had just been able to capitalize on a couple of 5-on-3 situations they got placed in. And I can't believe he fit that bullet underneath the Trailblazer and didn't get like a technical collat on the Trailblazer and the player. Nonetheless, Asuna again continues to show that he's been able to make the Jet work. A big pivot for him in his agent pool. But he's been very effective, particularly on the defense with this operator. And now he even has a Knives going to the final round of the half.
Cosmic Divide also potentially going to be in play here for XSET. That's really about it. I mean, you've got the From the Shadows from Nitro in case he wants to try to make a quick rotation, but he's in Cubby at the moment. Aldrone will scout him out. Can he get out of this? XSET are trying to punish, but the help from Ethan is absolutely beautiful. Trailblazer also coming through, but 100 Thieves have reinforced, and XSET have to give this away. But in the same breath, they do find a kill on the other side of the map, and that's going to lead to a quick rotation to A. There's the rotation out of Nitro's ult.
Yeah, he's gotten here in plenty of time. They should know that it's possible. They might think that he's heaven, and that's what Aaron's looking for, and Nitro going to catch him with that. Hiko reinforces, and oh my goodness, 100 Thieves are shutting this thing down to tie it up.
All right, Daph, what do you got for us here, brother? 1v4, no spike, and 45 seconds to play with. He's going to have to go through the teeth of this 100 Thieves setup, including Ethan first and foremost, and that information will be gained. 100 Thieves bouncing back to this, Guiding Light just to kill off more time. Aldrone's going to do the exact same thing. And Daph trying to sneak through it is going to be tagged up. There's really no chance that he's going to pull this one off, so.
What more obstacles can you put in front of this guy? I
Just
guess
Cloudburst,
more,
really.
Yeah, those two, I guess. What else? Throw something else out there.
There's the Nebula, trying to throw this out as fake smoke to find some entry point, but it's just being spammed down. So 100 Thieves recover beautifully in the second quarter here of that first half, tying things up 6-6, and now we get on to their offensive half where you really noted that they have been really slippery over the course of this tournament so far.
Yeah, their attacking side of this map has been fantastic. Just kind of taking a look at that last round, I have to give a huge shout out to Ethan. He bailed Nitro out of a really tough spot. He was trapped in Cubby. A lot of utility was being thrown at him. Ethan's skill allows him to stay alive, which allows him to ult for the fast rotation to A to shut down that pivot that XSET were trying to deliver. So really good team play there between Ethan and Nitro. Nets them a final round to tie up the half. And honestly, if they would have tidied up a couple of little errors, they probably could have won that half 8-4. XSET's really been slow off the blocks. BCJ only one frag. That is so uncharacteristic for him. And really the only person who's really gotten going is Aaron, to be honest.
Yeah, it's one of those things when you compare yesterday's performance for XSET to today's. The BCJ stat point is, I think, a really important one because he was the MVP of this Haven map without question. Also, it just goes right through Def, kind of breaks his ankle. I mean, Def is holding on to this Nebula saying, I've got no idea where Asuna has gone off to. Both players completely null of any information, but Def still responds first. Hiko is stuck in the corner outside B main and very well could lurk for maybe an opening kill as 100 Thieves rotate to A.
Yeah, they're going to get the spike plan at A, but past that, I'm not sure. It really kind of depends on if Hiko can make some type of timing flanking through A link, but otherwise you'd imagine XSET had this one well under their control, considering it's a 5-on-3 and they're in good position here at the A side already. Yeah, the flank stops the spike plan even.
Spike down
this utility out of this XSET and this recovery, they know exactly where this play is coming from. Nitro, decent for one, and now it's just down to Hiko. Could not find a timing, nor did he really flirt with trying to find one, to be honest. He finds himself in a 1v4, does find the first elimination. Hold on a second. I feel like 100 Thieves fans all over the world are sitting here saying, all right, Hiko, you've done this before. Can you do it again?
Low health, I mean.
Yeah.
Probably means he has no spike possession. He's got to work fast.
He's found some pretty decent clearance. He's got a frenzy at his feet if he wants it, but Pure just outside. Heaven finds the kill. Hiko guessing right. Pure was left, so the pistol does go the way of XSET.
Yeah, pretty solid, dominant win. Came down to some weird shenanigans over here inside some smokes in front of B, but also down to Zekin. Again, the new player on the block, not a very experienced guy, formerly of Noble. has never really played much VCT action coming into this team, but XSET saw something in him. They gave him a trial. They liked what they saw. They brought him in to be that secondary duelist next to Pure, but also flexing into Sky and some other agents depending on the map. And he's definitely had some pretty key moments so far throughout this tournament and throughout here on Haven.
Oh, we've seen this before from Pure. Trying to pull out the Marshall here in round 2. Going to be overwhelmed by the sheer numbers, but he's backed his way into sight. Finds one. Gonna find the second. Beautiful shot at Asuna. And 100 Thieves are still committing with these numbers. The spike is not a part of this play. They're looking to plant this over towards C, but the problem is they've lost every single member at A without finding a single elimination.
Yeah, this is the old classic run it 4 players one way so we can plant the spike on the opposite side of the map. And hey, if you're just playing an eco and you're trying to get some extra credits, it's not a bad way to play. As indeed it will be 8-6 in favor of XSET, but 100 Thieves have now bolstered themselves up a more powerful buy going forward with that, so that's always nice. It's the bonus of XSET now. So a chance to close the gap early with the superior firepower comes to the next round. And yeah, the 100 Thieves, they have a lot of different set pieces they like to pull out. They're a very explosive team, and they like to just commit. And I think the biggest reason for that is because they have a player in Asuna who epitomizes the role of entry fragger. The guy is straight up fearless, but also the Jet on the other side, Pure, been having a big tournament so far. I think he's like 2nd in ACS for the event thus far behind Tens, and had a big round there with the Marshall, and he's definitely going to be a key factor in this defense for XSET. You know, having that dynamic opper who can rotate between sites, you know, change his starting locations, look for early picks. He can maybe try to disrupt the 100 Thieves a little bit.
And let's be honest, we've seen this before from XSET, but in their bonus round, Pure still finds value with this Marshall. He's really good with it, so an opportunity maybe to kind of flex onto that here once more. Asuna tagged up. BCJ wants to defend this early. Shock Dart going to tag a little bit of Asuna's health up, but still the spike is planted. And Death, I don't think, is going to be able to stay on this backside of the play for very long. 100 Thieves seem to know that he's in this position as Asuna does find first blood into BCJ. Aldrone to confirm. Death not going to get away. And the post plant for 100 Thieves looking solid.
Yeah, they're going to walk out this round against the bonus of their opposition. And, you know, funnily enough, when I was watching the VOD back from yesterday, when 100 Thieves was playing against Envy, they ran a very similar strat where they basically do the whole, like, jet dash in and plant front B, but they do it in such a weird way where they're still kind of in default with the rest of their players. Like, Steel's still outside A. They're still, you know, maybe having Nitro out towards middle or long C. And they do that because they want to make sure they're not only at middle in the post plant. A lot of the times, you know, 100 Thieves has a tendency to want to also get garage control on their B plants. That's kind of what Nitro likes to do as that Omen. And that's what they were able to do in that round.
This goes here.
Now it's full buy versus full buy, and looks like 100 Thieves are looking for something a little bit more heavy-handed on C early on.
Could be a test here for Aaron, but you already mentioned he's been playing absolutely lights out on this recent roll swap coming through. Asuna going to test him. BCJ also a part as he's trying to make his way over to try to help, but is denied. So first 2 kills come through. Def trying to continue to contest the C site, but he'll be unsuccessful in that, and 4 members from 100 Thieves will survive with the plant.
I'm hoping we can get like a third-person camera replay of what just happened there on C site, because that is a very well-designed utility set to get Asuna safely on top the C site boxes with Jet and just be able to tee off on players who are just stranded because they're having to deal with the players on the low ground pushing them through long C. They're getting flashed out hard. I mean, there's a paranoia coming in. There's sky flashes coming in. It's just a way to mask Asuna's progression forward. And again, it plays to his fearless personality, where he doesn't mind being the tip of the spear. He doesn't mind going in first by some distance, you know, as long as he knows that his teammates are going to support him to make him feel safe as he goes in, and they're going to follow him up properly afterwards. He has no problem going in, getting 1 or 2 players, creating some space, and sealing the deal for his team. That's what happened there. Just a really well-designed C-burst strat to get Asuna just so quickly into C site. And again, the first kill he got, it was the freest of frags. The guy was totally blind below him.
We'll see it here. And man, our ops team, I'm telling you, we're the best the biz. I mean, it's just so well structured. It's the flash first, the paranoia second, and I mean, BCJ has no chance.
Yeah, the flash is what allows Asuna the initial dash through the cage, and the paranoia follow-up is what takes out the player below him from being a factor and countering him from getting on top of that box. Again, it's just the synchronization of utility. That's why 100 Thieves are so strong on the attacking side, man. They have their timings down.
Oh, anime battle coming over the top here. Asuna going to try to once more push out Pure, but Oh, does not quite able to track him down. So Pure stays alive, trying to follow up maybe an elimination beyond this. Knives are not going to be successful. Pure somehow still alive, but cannot find elimination. Steel able to convert first blood, but still, XSET look like they want to challenge this. Zekin's going to move forward off of his flash. Knows he's got a player down in hell, but cannot track him down. Meanwhile, though, death for 2, and XSET have stopped the plant successfully, and now we go 2v2. The action's still going chaotically onto the site as the 100 Thieves are trying to track down Zekin, who's able to find the operator for 1. 1v1 with Aaron, and the return from XSET come through as they capitalize for 9.
Oh, that is so much chaos to try to pave through Shift, to try to highlight what's important, but I do think that the missed daggers from Asuna is what gave XSET some time, and then Zekin making such a heads-up play. It took a while for it to set in, but, I mean, just his own fearlessness to come through with the flash, plop down, get the kill, tuck into Under Heaven, and even with the Neural Theft coming in, it was a costly clear from 100 Thieves. They didn't get second down clean. He was able to get a second member down and give his team a fighting chance, and they're able to capitalize. And now we're right back to a close scenario. XSET holding off 100 Thieves from getting the lead. And once again, 100 Thieves looking for the C site.
Aaron looking to contest this early. He's actually learned his lesson from the last round. This is the same execute attempt from the side of 100 Thieves, but they're stuffed. The kill comes through. BCJ finds 2. The Hunter's Fury's in the mix, but BCJ takes down a 3rd. Hiko could never get into the play.
That is unreal how BCJ lingered around inside the Hunter's Fury cone long enough to get a second frag and then hopped out. That is just dedication to the cause, basically. And I think the difference with that attack is some of these are also trying to ult Nitro into the back of the site for maybe intel, but also maybe he completes it if he sees that it's open, but he quickly realized that it wasn't. And XSET able to hold firm, and a lot of that is down the BCJ from the back of the platform, hitting some big shots around that Hunter's Fury of Eco.
Oh, but Steel, he was scouted out by the Trailblazer. You thought that there was going to be a good isolation. Zekin trying to play it with death, but Steel finds elimination. And I'll say, if Eco takes down Zekin here, we could be talking about a potential 2v5 recovery. Now we're in 30 seconds left to play. Steel in 11 health, no spike. Good luck.
Yeah, seems like a 10th round is inevitable at this point for XSET. Steel does not have a whole lot to work with here, just looking to see if maybe he can't find another frag or two, trying to play a little bit of limbo with the tripwire, but I think even he can't get that low. Tries to shoot through it and see if he can force a frag through, but Aaron quick to put that to a stop. So XSET, big adjustment defensively here on the C side. They shut down that burst, and now it's up to 100 Thieves to make another adjustment. Try to figure out what's the next plan of attack, as Asuna that time could not get a pick off that top box position. And just, yeah, look at BCJ just playing inside of it. He takes the hit, who cares? He just makes sure he gets his frags on the way into that damage and winds up shutting down the attack. And now they have so many ults to put into play into this next round. And money is kind of low here for 100 Thieves. They're having to come up with a couple of Spectres, and they only have those Seekers to try to entry with.
Force coming in here. This could be dangerous. This is 100 Thieves saying, we're playing for 9 right here and right now. You lose this one, you're going to be looking at a very similar buy going into what you would need to do for to essentially avoid 12 being put on the board here. So big round coming up for 100 Thieves. Early Aldrum to the middle of the map is actually going to provide maybe an opportunity for XSET to recover some pretty significant map advantage here in the early stages.
Yeah, they have good info because they've trailblazed through long end and no one's there. They have Pure watching the sewer side, so that allows them to rotate Zekin earlier on to reinforce this B site and maybe even go for some middle aggression if they so choose. They can feel really comfortable with the info they've gained to just trust Pure to hold this. I mean, he gets his kill, he dashes out, calls for rotation. Again, it gives them so much comfortability to just reinforce C and B right now. They have such a strong force. And, I mean, I hope they're going to have to do something here quickly to respect this and kind of force XSET to pivot back to something more standard.
The question really at this point is 100 Thieves do stretch out the XSET defensive touches. Can they put some pressure on up here? Oh, still able to recover. I don't think he meant to stay in the middles of sewers, but still finds elimination onto Asuna. Cloudburst will gain some separation. Seekers on the way in, though. Defensively, Aaron, he's trying to take care of the Seekers. He actually finds a shot onto Hiko's head. Second does the same to Ethan. And, oh, everything just barely going wrong here for 100 Thieves. Just down to Nitro, and this is looking like a for sure 11 on the round, or for the board rather, for XSET.
Yeah, that's just a great play from Pure. You know, getting into such a comfortable position with that operator inside sewers, taking down Asuna, being able to call for the rotation back as his teammates were kind of stacked on B site. They're able to get there fast enough to help reinforce things. And like you said, it feels a lot like they kind of just got a headshot through a smoke while trying to shoot a Seeker. I think that's kind of maybe what happened. And that is just unlucko, I guess you could say, for 100 Thieves. But also, again, just really good play here from Pure, making the best out of a terrible situation.
Yeah.
Not being able to dash away the way you want. Yeah, look. I can't believe that.
That's so fortunate. I mean, those Seekers are a huge distraction. I mean, you know Pure's isolated over towards the sewer side. You've got good smoke coverage. That looked like it was going to be a really good entry for 100 Thieves. It just comes down to the simple fact of the matter of,
Aaron just shooting the Seeker, and he's like, oh, check out my kill feed. That's pretty cool. I like that.
Oh, man.
I guess pro tip, don't play too far behind your Seeker. Maybe
or Trailblazer. We've learned that today, too.
Yeah, a little zigzag, maybe. I don't know. Obviously, something you can't account for. It just is going to happen sometimes, and unfortunately for 100 Thieves, it happened in a pretty big round. But XSET really turned this defense around.
And I have to go back to round 17 you see on the board there. That round win for XSET changes the dynamic of the entire back part of this map. I mean, that was a light by borderline thrifty for XSET that they're able to take through the chaos and turn around. If 100 Thieves win that round, we're looking at them steamrolling up to 11, if not 12 first. But now 100 Thieves in this tactical timeout have to decide, do we play for 9 here? Do we play to just try to force overtime? And we're going to get our answer. They're going to try to play to force overtime, unless they, of course, can find a way to secure a thrifty.
Yeah, they're trying to use that cage to cross into Sugars here early on, but this is not the only thing they're looking for. Oh, Trailblazers blocking each other, having a little bit of a dogfight, I guess you could say. One makes it through, and that's going to be Zekin eventually taking care of
Cage triggered.
the pet of Ethan, I guess you could say, as Steel now just trying to get even more assertive up. So we're just really creating a lot of presence, but again, this is not the full commitment. They also have some control in the middle.
BCJ does connect his first Hunter's Fury onto Hiko. The second actually connects onto Asuna. Flash, trying to put some pressure onto Pure, but he will stay safe, and 100 Thieves will back away, trying to make this call to get over into B. Gravity well going to be spent. Trapwire consumes Asuna for a moment. Aaron trying to quickly get on in, but Asuna just runs right into the site, finds the first elimination. A chance for 100 Thieves to use this as a position, but they're not going to go B. Instead, they're going to rotate over towards the direction of BCJ, who has been marked really not as consistent as he was from yesterday, but he's really stepped things up. Double kill there. Zekin finds the third. The plant will not fully be secure, and Def's on the flank.
Yeah, really well timed there. Ethan will get the plant, but that's probably about it. He's able to escape. Never mind, gets flashed to try to escape. I thought he was going to get to the garage, but not quite. Zekin shuts the door with the remote of the bird. And again, BCJ, we talked about it. I think coming into the second half, he only had 1 frag. And I feel like he has definitely been adding to that throughout the second half. Not only that, but his Hunter's Fury is what allowed XSET to confirm that it wasn't a heavy-handed A play, that, you know, Asuna was actually out in middle. And so it allowed them to feel confident in their C defensive setup. It allowed, you know, Def be able to come in behind through the B link, and they just had a really good handle on things, thanks to BCJ getting some key information and a couple of big kills on the C site. And now they're 1 round away for taking away 100 Thieves map pick and starting to create their own little haven.
Man, I'm telling you.
Success, man. I mean, they might knock down 2 really top haven teams here between Sentinels yesterday and what they have in front of them right now so far against 100 Thieves.
You talk about the fact that we hadn't seen XSET play Haven competitively in a tournament since April. Now, taking down, like you mentioned, possibly 2 of the top NA teams on this map. Looking primed for it, at least for now. But 100 Thieves, they lose Nitro. It's going to be 4v4. Zekin up top, possibly tested, and here comes 100 Thieves on the entry. Aaron is a part of this, and he's actually done nicely with these cyber cages to create a little bit of time. Zekin looking to flash, but Aaron's already fallen, and now Zekin has to clutch things up, finds 1. That'll be all he gets, though, on the first attempt.
Trailblazer coming in now as well, but gets shut down. Doesn't really get too much info off of that, but they still have a chance. 3-on-3. The thing is, they're all coming from lower side in heaven. That's going to be kind of a funneled retake. They get a big kill on Asuna.
Steel stays alive. Seekers does come out. It actually will affect him, but he's provided himself some cover with the spy cam to where he doesn't really matter if he's concussed or stunned up. Trying to get the tag off to Zekin, maybe to finish the kill. Hiko from down low finds BCJ. And now Zekin, 1v2, 17 HP. Going to commit to trying to play forward through this. If only maybe just to grab the operator, and that is indeed the case. He'll back away.
Yeah, great late round play there from Steel and Hiko, the 2 veterans on the team. Just making the best they could out of a situation that was getting a bit stressful. You know, when they get Asuna down and XSET starts charging through the lower side and the Seeker hits Steel, you're starting to be concerned, but Steel keeping tabs on things with the cam. Hiko able to do well from long A, gets a big kill to kind of even things back up 2-on-2, and just eventually able to push that retake off and keep themselves afloat here. fighting for survival on this map, trying to force an OT. Need 3 more rounds in a row to do it, but still have to go up against a fully decked out XSET. They have the operator in Pure's hands. They have a Cosmic Divide. Definitely have a lot of tools to keep 100 Thieves off of those extra rounds.
And beyond that, just an economy that they can send to an offshore account if they want to. I mean, they have so much cash built up. But look at this defense from XSET. 3 players through middle. Awesome needs to find one here, you would have to feel like. Holding the corner, gonna find the first, looking for the second. Sees that there are players nearby, tries to dash over and around, and that has created enough chaos to maybe allow XSET, well, to have to back away, but they do take down Asuna, so we stay 4v4.
Yeah, he's done a fair amount of causing disturbance out in middle and allowing there to be openings elsewhere on the map. Seekers will start coming into B. Thing is, though, XSET have already made a good rotation C side, and I think that 100 Thieves kind of realize that now with their Seekers being able to make their way through B site without getting encountered, and so now they'll pivot back over to A. This is just good reads from 100 Thieves.
Oh, but look at the distraction in front. 2 trap wires, 2 stars. That could slow things down significantly. Ethan gets hit, but the trap wire doesn't deal with it. But Hiko and Steel, meanwhile, simultaneously find 2 in response. So it turns into a 3v2 favoring 100 Thieves, and they still want to try to pressure out Pure through A. Shoulder peek, tries to avoid the Aldrone, and it looks like he very well just may do that. But Nitro has gotten onto the site. They seem to know that Pure is here, but have they given him enough space to maybe find an angle? Not the case. Spike will rotate behind this. It's just down to death for a 1v3.
Yeah, looking like 100 Thieves are going to keep it going, and it really just all comes down to getting some really good reads of XSET's rotations thanks to the Seekers that got put into B site and being able to make that pivot over to A side and just trade out efficiently from that point forward to get themselves to 10. Not a whole lot that's going to be able to say about it here. Steel and Nitro will finish the job, and man, extra rounds are starting to look more and more likely as each second passes. I mean, these are digging deep and coming up with some big plays to get them back afloat.
And they're really starting to dig into this XSET economy pretty nicely. But at this moment, again, a bit precarious. To see that Zekken just gets a free kill onto Ethan, it's just one of those things that simultaneously Hiko's able to find the trade, plus there was a kill mid-map to give them the numbers. And then eventually they just put too much pressure onto Pure. I mean, if Pure hits one of those shots at the operator, though, we're looking at a very different defensive setup for XSET, trying to recover that A site. Double ops coming out now for XSET as well.
Yeah.
That will be something different here as Def will hold the second. Pure in a bit of trouble, has to back away. And, well, Aaron, who is trying to get aggressive through C Garage, also drops. So first blood once again confirmed for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, they have so much presence as well all across the map. They have A lobby control. They still have control of middle. They're threatening Garage. And now they have a 2-man advantage. I mean, an 11th round is looking oh so likely now. They've had everything play out exactly how they'd want to. They have so much at their disposal now. Nitro going to ult in and kind of check things out on C site. It's the read that Def is playing the plat, but Def gets a collab through long. Oh no! Now it gets interesting. Now it's not a foregone conclusion any longer.
Oh my goodness, no way. How big is that? Asuna still wants to challenge C, gets on top using his own Cloudburst. Will open up the site for 100 Thieves to funnel on in from behind. And for BCJ and Zekken, they have to rotate through B to get here.
Spike planted.
How do you hit this? Aldrone's still potentially in play. 2 guiding lights, 2 shock darts, recon bolt charge. But for 100 Thieves, still holding on to the paranoia. Potential to contest this. There's the paranoia. Asuna peeks exactly at the right time. Wants the red dot chase, holds down the trigger, but Zekken still finds the kill. Second guiding light comes through. And Nitro's going to shroud and step away. They're going to play a little bit of a cross angle, and Steel will finalize the elimination. 100 Thieves get to 11. And now question marks start to surround what XSET can afford going into this next round.
What a crazy, crazy round that was. I mean, it's all going 100 Thieves' way, and then Dev hits that, and all of a sudden, everything comes back into question. Luckily for them, Asuna able to get into A off a dash, take Dev down, give them man advantage back. They're able to capitalize and, you know, right the ship, essentially. And now they're 1 away from forcing an OT, and again, it wouldn't be XSET versus 100 Thieves without it being a heck of a close game with the potential of extra rounds needed, just like those Stage 1 Challenge 1 Grand Finals.
Oh! But the early flashes coming through. 100 Thieves want to take over A control. Nico will go into the Hunter Spirit trying to finalize this kill in the corner, and will. So the opening exchange, a dicey one, but Def slips in from behind to keep it a 3v3. And 100 Thieves a little bit stuck right now through A long.
No, final round regulation and blow for blow so far in this round as they're now into a 3-on-3 second, trying to sneak up through sewers, gets caught by the Trailblazer, able to use a flash to at least escape back without getting caught. And they still have a pinch because they're pushed out through courtyard and even into attacking spawn, and Zekken is holding the line. Might even get a shorty kill. No, Nitro's going to get that one back, get it back into a 2-on-2. They still have time. They still have spike possession, but again, they don't really have a way back without being caught.
Cosmic Divide will be used defensively. Def, who was on the flank at one point in time, has rotated back into the center of the map, but Aaron, who hasn't been seen all round, is going to be taking place on the flank. The thing is, 100 Thieves are very aware of the potential threat. Technically speaking, they just have a free A site. The big question is, has Aaron rotated? That's the one thing they don't know.
Yeah, they have no intel at all. They know that they could be getting flanked. They know that the Cosmic Divide was there at A, that someone might be playing behind it. Now it's cleared out. They smoke Heaven. They're putting the spike down. And they will be able to get it. They have, a player under Heaven. Nitro, not sure where he's going to go yet post-plant. But we know that the retake is going to be coming immediately. Oh, and that's a great catch. At least know once coming through long. They don't know about the other, though.
They still have the paranoia. That's the big key. The last Nebula in play. Def gonna fall. Aaron, do they know that he's here? He gets paranoid. Just out of the Spectre. Not gonna find it. And Nitro with 3 in the round confirms we will see extra time.
Brilliant display from 100 Thieves, marching forward 3 rounds in a row to force an OT. Now it comes down to who can win 2 in a row first. No strangers to OT and no strangers to go on the distance are these two teams, especially against one another head-to-head. Asuna going for the big op purchase in OT. We know that's a big investment with the starting money the way that it is for OT. That means he's not going to have any armor. But we know defensively, the Jet with an op can have so much impact, and so for him, it feels like it's worth the dice roll, especially because it looks like he is going to go for an aggressive sewers play, and we can see that XSET are looking to gear up towards that side, though not the spike. They're also looking to get some mid control simultaneously.
Well, the Aldrone for BCJ potentially also into play. Asuna will walk forward and finds the kill on the Def. Oh, that's so huge for 100 Thieves defensively. Not only is it first blood, but that's your smoker for XSET. How are you going to retake or even be able to get into a site? It looks like they do want to try to push immediately on in, and they find Nitro topside corner, a chance to get a plant off.
They also stun Asuna with the Trailblazer, so he doesn't feel confident taking a shot through the initial smokes, and the spike will indeed go down, and it's equal. They're able to dash out, and he gets flashed again, and they chase off of it.
Aaron for 1, but the trade is there. Ethan able to recover. 100 Thieves are on this site, but look at the post-plant setup for XSET. You've got one player close in Zekken. BCJ looks like he wants to come around through garage. Aldrone's gonna isolate Zekken. He needs to try to stay alive. Flash will come through. It's beautifully timed. Finds steal for the first. Watch out for BCJ. He's on the flank. He finds the second. It's down to Eco. 1v3 and likely not enough time beyond that. Things looking very positive for XSET. Eco finds 1. Toggles looking for a second elimination. No way. Has to try to stick. Pure doesn't want to fall for elimination and will eventually come back to the kill just in the nick of time. XSET strike first at OT.
Dude, give a round of applause to Zekken, the absolute savior of that round. The newcomer to the team, 16 years old, very inexperienced, but very much impressing early here. A nice clutch attempt in the end from Hiko, but it's Zekken's flashes that punish Asuna multiple times, allowing Aaron to get such a key kill that tilted the odds back in XSET's favor despite Asuna's opening pick. They also did a great job getting Nitro down rapidly inside the site to equalize the numbers and get the spike down. So just all in all, beautiful play from XSET, but again, Zekken having so much impact with his utility that round to help him secure the fight and man advantage to win. And they finish the job now.
That really is the question. Look at the stack from XSET. 3 members over towards C with Zekken rotating to kind of lean that same direction. I mean, for 100 Thieves, they found a lot of success on this C site, and that's where the gamble stack currently is going to occur for XSET. It's just Pure by himself over towards A and just a couple of traps through mid to try to stop any play towards B.
Yeah, see Garage going to be taken here by 100 Thieves. Asuna leading the way. No surprise there. Def playing a tough corner, able to get his 1. And Zekken can play off of it for 2. Again, Zekken having such impact.
Aaron finds one more beyond this, but is still tagged up. Hiko, last chance, 1v3. Lots more time to play with here, but no spike. Cyber cages are going to go down. XSET will recover the site for now. as this dissipates. Will he find Aaron? Not gonna matter. Second comes around the corner, finds his third, and XSET strike first, 14-12. It's gonna be up to Bind, or putting Icebox coming up next.
Which brings me to my next point. Do we think KO would date an air fryer?
Dude, Jacob. I hacked into VCT, bro. We're in VCT.
Oh.
This is our chance.
God.
Okay,
Hey,
what's up, VCT
hi,
chat? We have
everyone.
a big announcement for you guys.
A super big
Okay,
announcement.
so
But first, do you think KO would date an air fryer? I
no,
think it's something
Jake,
that's very
no,
possible.
Jake, nope. We don't have that much time, dude.
somehow
I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. Don't have that much time. Okay, you're muted. That's it.
Don't-
Hi, VCT chat. What's up? I'm Alex. This is Jacob. We're Loading Screens hosts every Tuesday and Thursday this month at 11 a.m. on Twitch and YouTube. We're going to be giving away $50 Valorant gift cards. $50 Valorant gift cards Tuesdays and Thursdays, 11 a.m. on Loading Screen right here. Okay, announcement done. Jacob, do you have anything you would like to say?
Yes.
Okay, what?
Do you think that
No!
KO would date Boombot?
Jacob,
I think it's
stop!
something we should
No!
Look, you got me. No chance at just one glance to your glory. I needed it. Look at my past. Do you need anything? You can use me, I'm yours. Do you see anything? You wanna change arrangement?
Welcome back, everybody. We're through the first map, but my goodness, we barely got through it because we're already seeing some absolutely climactic moments. It's XSET, though, who strike first. And for a team that we haven't seen play this map competitively since April, they've now taken down both Sentinels and 100 Thieves, of which it were their opponent's map selection. So, needless to say, I think we've got a new big heavy hitter here on Haven for North America.
Yeah, very tooth and nail game from both these teams at different points, displaying good play. You know, we're taking a look at this BCJ having a big recovery defensively in the second half after having a tough first half. They only had one frag on the attacking side, but when they transitioned shots, BCJ came up huge on a lot of plays. And again, I had to tip my hat to Zekin. He might have been on the death end of that clip we're watching now, but his utility uses throughout this game, as well as his fragging impact, he really was kind of the more impactful guy on the server. He was able to, you know, have a lot more say in things compared to, you know, Ethan, the counterpart on the opposite end. And certainly, again, he got great play out of his teammates as well. Just a fantastic victory for this team. To see them be able to, you know, hold off 100 Thieves constantly, even once they got pressured into extra rounds with, you know, 100 Thieves having that like 3 or 4 round run at the end of the first half to force the extra rounds. They were able to, you know, put that aside, focus up, went out the OT pretty convincingly.
Yeah, I mean, how big was Zekin throughout this entire series as well? I mean, the X Factor yesterday versus Sentinels, I think we both probably agree was 100% BCJ for XSET, but Zekin in this one, 27 and 15 with 4 assists. Unbelievable. And for a guy that we kind of framed up at the top of the show, kind of comparing him to Ethan, we kind of had the same thing. I don't know what it is about you and I, does, but we keep picking these kind of head-to-head matchups, and we see one of those two performers look really good and the other kind of be, I won't say necessarily a huge letdown, but I mean the comparison between what Zekin just put out versus what Ethan just put out on the Sky, very, very contrasting to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, similar to Zekin, Ethan is just now picking up the Sky. I think that was like his 5th match with it. Definitely not something he's used to. I feel like he, you know, first came to the game kind of playing Omen, but that's what Nitro always played. So they pivoted him to playing Sage, and he was essentially playing Sage on like every map in the pool, and he was very good on Sage. Like he was looking like he was finally hitting his stride in Valorant on the Sage, but it does seem like so far with him being on Sky, he has struggled to really be the same player that we saw last stage. You know, he's had a couple of good games here and there on it. Like he had a very good game against Envy yesterday, for example, but he's also had a couple of games that have looked just a little bit less than what we're used to. You know, so Maybe it's just him trying to get used to that, whatever the case may be. It's not like it was his fault or something that they lost. I mean, it was a very close game. Could have really gone either way. It was just a very, again, convincing overtime there from XSET in the end.
Well, looking forward to what we have coming up next. We teased it before we went to break, but it's going to be Icebox for map number 2, a map that XSET has routinely played in almost every single series thus far through their run to the VCT. And actually, as I double check my notes, they have played it in every single series they've played so far in stage number 3. But beyond that, 100 Thieves, also a very capable and, of course, comparable team when it comes down to it. They've been very good here as well.
Yeah, I mean, they're 70% win rate on Icebox since Ethan's joined the team. They are near 60% win rate on both sides of the map. They've won their last couple of games against some of the top teams in the region. You know, have only lost it a couple of times in recent memory. Usually a very strong map for 100 Thieves. So I think that they'll still feel at home here. XSET, to me, still not quite proven. They struggled on the map throughout the year. Obviously, this stage, it's been a different story. They've won, you know, pretty much every game they played except for the Sentinels loss yesterday. They also haven't really played many big names. I mean, Dark Zero and Rise are like kind of their 2 biggest wins. So I think they still have a little bit left to prove on Icebox. But so far, every test that's been thrown out in front of them, they've passed with flying colors. They beat Sentinels yesterday. They just took Haven off of 100 Thieves, another really good map for 100T. And they just look sharp. Like, they look like they're getting some great form out of the bulk of their players. BCJ had a rare off performance that map. I don't think that'll hold up. I think he'll continue to come fighting this next map. And if Zekin keeps up the way that he's been, and you get everyone else just playing how they were playing on Haven and how they've been playing all tournament long, I think XSET very well could do this, man. I mean, they just look like they're starting to kind of hit their next level with these roster changes.
Absolutely, and this is, again, just a historical map between these two. We already talked about the Haven last time these two squads played. It was 13-11, favoring 100 Thieves. Getting into what they played at Icebox, it also saw overtime, but it was 15-13 to 100 Thieves last time these two squads had matched up. Again, before we throw things to break, big shout outs to our sponsors, including Zowie. We've had a lot of vibrance going through so far when it comes down to what we had in our first map, but with the exclusive technologies like the dynamic accuracy and color vibrance, Zowie monitors make it absolutely easier to track your enemies, control your weapon spray, and of course, secure the site for your squad. So check out zowie.bangq.com for more information, or if you'd like to learn more about what exactly this dynamic accuracy is and how it can affect your gameplay, just go ahead and search in what is Diac to skip right into the good stuff to see how this technology has kind of affected the FPS nature of this monitor. So we'll send things over to just a quick break for now. When we come back, we'll be talking about the difference in the compositions, because there are some notable ones for both of these squads before we jump into map number 2, Icebox, after this.